Let's say you had an opportunity to right all the wrongs. Everything that you had did wrong, you had a chance to right it. All the mistakes, all of the things that have just not bounced your way. You had a golden opportunity to change it in one single setting. Would you take advantage of it? Cowboys had that opportunity. Let's talk about it right here on Cowboy Spit.
Here we go! Yeah, here we go! Wait, take
Cowboys Spit.
Throws back of the end zone. There's CeeDee Lamb.
What's going on, everybody? Cowboy C3. Big week, huge week, humongous week. I said this before, I think on a previous episode, maybe a couple episodes back, that this may be the most important game of the season. Not because it's it's not a divisional game. It's an NFC rivalry. It's an old rivalry. Cowboys 49ers go back a long, long way. But you haven't beat the San Francisco 49ers since 2020. You haven't beat them. You lost to them in a playoff game. First playoff game you lost to them, I think, in 2022. 2021. NFL playoff record, 17 penalties in one game. And then you had the crazy play with the slide to end the game. That was bananas. 2022, you had another opportunity in the playoffs. And you were moving the ball perfectly fine. Everything was going good up until Tony Pollard broke his leg on the hip tackle that's illegal now. The score was 10-9. You had golden opportunities. You had a play where George Kittle bobbled a pass and Trayvon Diggs could have jarred the ball loose. But he chose, he just didn't hit him. He chose to let him go, and George Kittle ended up making the catch and on the fourth down and gaining 30 yards, and they went on to score. It ended up being the game-winning touchdown. Dak played like trash in that game. The whole offense played like trash in the game after the first quarter. When Tony Pollard was in the game, you did fine. You had Malik Davis sitting on the bench. You had him sitting on the bench the whole time. He was 2 games removed from a 120-yard effort against Tennessee in a game where he rushed the ball like 26, 27 times. You had the opportunity to use him. You chose to go with Zeke. And it didn't work, right? Then on Sunday Night Football last year, you had a chance to right the ship, and you took a drumming in San Francisco. A drumming. Well, guess what? You're going back to San Francisco. But this time is a little bit different. And we'll get into that in a minute. A lot of things going on with the Cowboys in the off week. Mostly with their owner. After the interview last week, he came back this week, and I didn't even record any sound bites from him because it wasn't really that fantastic. But he came back and he kind of gave a Jerry apology, which means he didn't apologize at all. He just explained why he reacted the way he reacted. And basically what he says, you keep poking the bear, this is the response that you're going to get. Well, Jerry, shit, man, they're going to poke the bear. The bear is going to be poked because the bear deserves to be poked. It does. It deserves to be poked. And I got a couple of friends that listen to these things. They're like, man, you poking hard at Jerry. Man, well, this is his team. This is the way that he's organized this whole thing. He's organized himself to be the face of the franchise. It's not Dak Prescott. It's not CeeDee Lamb. It's not Micah Parsons. Maybe in the future, maybe DeMarion Overshown, maybe, you know what I mean? But right now it's Jerry, and that's who it is. And Jerry wants it to be that way. So when the good is good, Jerry wants to stand in front of the microphone, and he wants to answer all the questions, and he wants to do everything, and, shake hands, kiss babies, walk down, in the middle of, crowds and wave his hands and stuff. You know what I mean? But when it's bad, he don't want to talk about it. Well, we're going to talk about it. We got to. He was asked about Derrick Henry, why he didn't sign Derrick Henry. And he said, it's kind of one of those things where, you know, I've been married for 60 something years, and my wife, she'll come and ask me, why did you do that? Or why didn't you do that? And he'll just, he said, man, hey, I don't know why I didn't do it. The devil made me do it. I don't know, and that's not a viable excuse. And he went on to say that in this situation, Derrick Henry wouldn't be gaining 6.5 yards a carry. No, he probably wouldn't. He's probably absolutely right. But he would be gaining 4.5 yards a carry. And that's almost twice as better than any other running back we got on the team. So you tell me. Yeah, we run a different type of offense, but we run an offense similar to what he ran in Tennessee, and he really didn't have a rock bottom running the ball in Tennessee. He didn't. So what are we doing? Anyway, water under the bridge. He's in Baltimore having the time of his life. Man, he's having a phenomenal season. So is Lamar Jackson. That whole offense is just having a phenomenal season. Congratulations to them. Some more things that happened during the bye week. There was a report that a reporter from Sports Illustrated, she kind of brought back the Dalton Schultz interview where he said that, playing for the Cowboys is like a zoo, where the Cowboys charge $40 and you can be a Cowboy for a day, and the fans get to come and they walk through team meetings and they walk through the weight room and all these kind of things like that. And Dalton Schultz said it was a zoo. Well, some more players kind of doubled up on exactly what Dalton Schultz said. Tony Pollard said, in Tennessee, it's just X's and O's. He said, I'm a better place mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, just all around in a better place. And then Kelvin Joseph said, in Kansas City, it's football and winning championships. In Dallas, it was a lot of football and a lot of other stuff too. And then Dante Fowler Jr. said, you got real facilities. He's talking about in Washington. And we all know that Washington facilities are, bottom of the line in the NFL. But one thing he said is that you don't see any tourists coming around, and it keeps the main thing, which is football. He said, is there a different team culture? And Curse said the same. J-Ron Curse, safety for the Cowboys last year. He said, of course, he said, you go out of your way, to launch things, and you're running into tourists. He said, you're on your way to meetings, you're running into tours. He said, well, here is football. Our job is to come in and be able to focus, whether it's in the weight room or the coach is teaching us or something, in the meeting room. You don't have 30 to 35 people just walking around looking through glass windows in meetings, right? And I can see how that could be kind of zooish, right? So Micah Parsons came back and said, sometimes you just got to call bullshit when you see it, and this ain't it. So Micah Parsons also went on to put in an interview and said, hey, some people just ain't made for the limelight. Look, man, I don't know about you, but if I go to work, right, and it's just tours walking through my facilities all the time, right, and it gets in the way and it slows down progress, and it starts to make the people that are working feel uneasy, and me as, a supervisor, you kind of calm the people down. And we have tours that come through every now and then, right? But this seems to be an everyday attraction, and you can get this attraction anytime you want for $40. Like, you can go in and just be a Cowboy for a day. I can see how that can be a distraction, along with landing a helicopter in the middle of the practice field, during practice. I see how that can be a distraction, and it can deter from a winning culture. This is no player. This is no coach. This is nobody else. This is Jerry. And these are the kind of things that you kind of have to deal with when you're a Dallas Cowboy. These are the kind of things that make this job less attractive than other jobs. It does. And this is the reason why you probably get mediocre coaching in here. It just is what it is. Well, you got this opportunity to right the ship. You have an opportunity to right all the wrongs that have happened before. Come in hyper focused. You get an extra week. You get to get healthy, right? You get to do a lot of things. Take a little time off. Play with the wife and the kids. Do whatever. Dak Prescott got engaged. Congratulations to him and his wife and the new baby. Um, a lot of things that can happen during an off week. But then it comes back. You got to focus on football. And your opponent this week is an opponent that I'm not going to even sugarcoat it. They done whooped your ass 3 years in a row. They have. You had opportunities to win the 2 playoff games and you couldn't do it. And I compare Mike McCarthy when he sees Kyle Shanahan across the sideline. I compare him to the coach on the water boy. He's going to look for a hot dog. He's trying to get the hell up out of there. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like that he has no interest in the football game. It seems like he is afraid of Kyle Shanahan. And it's not just in that attitude, with the coaching staff, that attitude bleeds down into the team. Against the 49ers, you have seen lost. You have seen uninterested to play after 3 quarters. One thing goes wrong and it's just downhill from there. The first year, it was just penalty after penalty after penalty. Randy Gregory had 2 defensive holding penalties on run plays. How the hell do you do that? That's undisciplined football. And all he's doing is taking that pulling guard and tackling him, right, to keep him from pulling around the corner and being a lead blocker for the running back. That's all he's doing. But instead of just taking on the block, occupying the pool, and then let everybody else come in and eat on the running back, he decided not to do that. He wanted to tackle him and bring him down. Last year, you had 0 issues moving the ball in the first quarter. You could tell that the game plan was built around Tony Pollard. This is what we're going to do. We're going to run Pollard and we're going to run play action passes. Unfortunate incident, Tony Pollard breaks his leg, right? Broke his leg, and you had no plan B. No plan B whatsoever. And that's super unfortunate because that was an opportunity for you to win a playoff game and make it to an NFC Championship game. And you couldn't do it. Now, you go into last year, Sunday night game. I invite people over here, man. We got pizza, we got beer, we got everything you can think of. And the Cowboys come out and lay an absolute egg. Entire offense looks like trash. Starting with Dak Prescott. You look like the lights were too big for you. But as you went and you started to look into the play calling and things like that, like you ran a corner route with Schoonmaker at the beginning of the game for a gain of 12. You threw a 38-yard pass on a corner route to Kevontae Turpin. The rest of the game, it was just slants and comebacks. That's all it was. That's it. No real running game. You didn't even try to run the ball. And the 49ers just ate you alive. Well, this year has an opportunity to be a little bit different. And this is why. The Cowboys came out this week. Injury report, like I said, you had an opportunity to get healthy. Brandon Aubrey didn't practice today because he had jury duty. And he got selected for a felony trial. So, man, I hope we have our kicker on Sunday. That would be crazy that if he have to sit around for a damn felony trial. He said that the judge, this is in Tarrant County here in the DFW Metroplex. The judge is going to work with him with his football schedule, but he need to get to practice because we got a big game on Sunday. We ain't got time. You never should have selected him for the jury. Deron Bland didn't practice today. He is day-to-day. He's expected to have an opportunity to play on Sunday, and that's a big deal because we'll get into that in just a second. Kalen Carson was a full participant in practice today. Micah Parsons didn't practice today, but they said that he was walking around. He was doing pretty good. He did some work on the sideline just a little bit, and then he went on back in the locker room. Everybody else was a full participant in practice. Everybody. The 49ers, however, this injury list is long. And on Saturday, we'll give an official injury list, and we'll see who's going to play and who's not going to play. This is Wednesday. If you haven't practiced by now, it gives you a little inclination of what's to come. Okay, Kevin Gates, defensive lineman with a groin injury, did not practice. DeJuan Jennings, hip injury, did not practice. George Kittle, foot injury, did not practice. Jake Moody did not practice, right ankle. The kicker, he's out. He's already out. Deebo Samuel with the pneumonia, just got released from the hospital. He didn't practice. Trent Williams did not practice. Nick Bosa, limited practice. Chris Conley, limited practice. Jordan Mason, second leading rusher in the NFL with a shoulder injury, limited practice. The 49ers are beat up. Brandon Ayuk goes out with a torn ACL. He's out for the season. Christian McCaffrey hadn't done anything all year with these 2 strained Achilles tendons. That's probably going to keep him out for the rest of the season. The 49ers are prime for the picking. And if you come off a bye week and blow this one, man, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. This is the golden opportunity. This is the opportunity to right the ship for the season. Sure, you're 3-3. Sure, you've been blown out at home 3 separate times. 28-25 against Baltimore, but if you saw that game, you know damn well that 28-25 was not indicative of how the game went. It was more like 28-3. This is an opportunity to really, really, really get some get back for the last 3 years. This is the opportunity. Jerry also said in his interview, he pulled back on his statement a little bit at the end. He said that, could it be the play calling? Could it be, players? Could it be a combination of everything? Could it be, poor route combinations? Could it be any of that stuff? Yeah, it could be. But we love our coaches and we love our players, right? I've said it since 10 years ago, right? It's all the same thing that the Cowboys do. There's no creativity to it, right? There's none. And to be honest with you, there's players that you could put in certain situations that would help open up this bland offense that you have. You could put Kevontae Turpin in the slot and have him run the seam, and you could essentially just take one safety completely out of the equation, and that would keep that safety come down on these slants or helping out on these crossing routes where CeeDee Lamb comes across the middle. Right now, you don't really have that opportunity because your offensive line is not playing great. You can work on some technical things. I'm a firm believer that the game is won in the trenches. That's just a basic football thing. The game is won on the offensive and the defensive line. If your offensive line can keep the opposing team's defensive line from getting penetration and messing up your plays, then you have an excellent opportunity to win. It don't matter what kind of skill position players you have. Dallas's offensive line has not played well, and it's really started with the right side. Zach Martin, we're not used to seeing him like this. It has not been a good season for him whatsoever. And maybe he's injured. Maybe he is injured. Maybe his back was bothering him a little bit more than was led on to be in the last game against Detroit. His PFF grade was horrendous. Worst PFF grade he's ever had. He had a 20% on his. He had a score of 20 on his PFF grade, 0 in pass blocking. That's not a Zach Martin thing. Maybe his back is bothering. But if your back is bothering you that much, man, why don't you just go have a seat? You hurting the team. You out there to help the team, but you're actually hurting the team because you're not giving your quarterback any time to pass. You're not. Your right tackle, Terrence Steele, it seemed like he got paid. He got hurt. That was 2 years ago. He got hurt, but he got paid too, right? And his performance has been subpar since he got paid. Even before the injury, he wasn't really playing that great. And then he got hurt. And then this year, a year removed from the injury, I think everybody just expected it to be a lot better than what it is. But, I mean, he's, in some cases, he's not even getting his hand on the person. TJ Watt was coming in on some plays. He wasn't even touching him. Hutchinson, too, last week before he got injured. Like, Terrence Steele was like a non-factor. Hutchinson was just coming around the corner and just doing whatever he wanted to do. Got to fix that. I'm almost to the point to where if it was me, right, I would keep Tyler Smith at left tackle and just move Tyler Guyton to right tackle. That's what he played in college anyway, right? That's a familiar position for him. It's familiar. So maybe that's something that you can change. Cooper Beebe is doing the best that he possibly can in center. He's a rookie, never played the position before. he's doing the best that he can. It's a learning curve, and that's just how it is, right? Well, the 49ers are also without Greenlaw, their outside linebacker, who to me is one of the best linebackers in the NFL. Sure, Fred Warner is the man. He is the man. I give it to him. Greenlaw is right behind him. If you got a 1-2 punch anywhere on that team, it's at linebacker, and Greenlaw's out as well. So this is an opportunity for you to exploit some things. Their defensive line is pretty good. Bosa, of course, on the defensive end is one of the best in the NFL. He's excellent at what he does. 49ers have a lot of injuries, man. I think both safeties are out as well. You got a starting corner out. They have a lot of people that are just banged up and they're injured and they're 3-4. And this is not the same 49er team that we're accustomed to seeing year in and year out. All you got to do is get it right. You've had a bye week to plan for this. A bye week. You dust off the old playbooks, go and watch Oregon play offense, University of Texas, Georgia, whoever the hell you want to watch, and just get some plays and just like, hey, we'll keep these 10 plays in the bag, and when we really need them, we'll run them. It's a copycat. Football is a copycat thing. Teams take plays from everybody and just put them into their playbook. And they're like, okay, we're going to practice this week. Well, you had 2 weeks to practice them. It's time to get this right. This is the opportunity that you've been waiting for. Kick the dog while he's down. Kick him. Kick him. You got to do it. You have to do it. This would build the mental psyche going into these next few weeks, and these next few weeks are rough. And it starts with this game. You go into some games after this game where you get some divisional matchups. You got to play the Eagles and you got to play the Commanders and you play the Giants. These are 3 divisional games that you need some momentum going into, especially for this Washington game, because Washington is firing on all cylinders. Even when Jaden Daniels went out last week with a leg injury, it didn't seem like it was that big of a deal because he was just on the sideline kind of walking around after, during the game. But I think the score was 40-9 when he went out. Like, it didn't even really matter, right? Marcus Mariota came into the game and he looked good too. Washington's rolling. They pushing on all cylinders right now. The Eagles are stumbling. They are stumbling, and it's a prime opportunity to beat them too. But last week they looked pretty good. They did. They got A.J. Brown back. They got him rolling. Jalen Hurts had a little bit, had a little bit of success, and Saquon Barkley was running the football like he was fresh out of college. Penn State. Saquon Barkley looked great, right? And you get an opportunity this week to build some confidence when you're going into this thing, because you got next week you got Atlanta, which is another good young football team. Then you go into this divisional thing where you got tough games coming up. You do. And you got must-win games coming up. Like, you have to win your divisional games. You have to. This is the game to gain that confidence in. You have to do it. Good week of practice. Looks like you're pretty much healthy. Hopefully you get Deron Bland back. That'll kind of shore up this secondary a little bit and get it to where it needs to be. Work on some defensive things, especially on your defensive line. Try to get these guys right. This was an opportunity. This was a chance to reset, get your bearings right, get healthy, get in the weight room, and just focus on the main thing, which is playing football. Block all these distractions out. I know it's hard playing for the Cowboys. I get it. The star is the most important thing to some people in the facility, but football ultimately is your job, and these guys have to go after this. They have to. I just hope they can do it, man. I really do. I think they can. There's some opportunities. There's going to be some opportunities to eat. There's going to be opportunities in the passing game to make some plays. There's going to be opportunities, if you can effectively move the ball through the air, then there will be opportunities to run. Your passing game can definitely open up your run game. This is the golden opportunity to right the ship for the season. This is why I said that this game right here, no matter what happened before, I don't care if you were 6-0 right now. It doesn't really matter. This is the game that should be circled on your schedule, because this is the payback game. This is the game where you get to get it right. This is the game where you get to right the ship for all the wrongs that have happened in the past, especially within the last 4 years. You have an opportunity. You need to take full advantage of it. I hope they can. All right. Saturday. We'll talk mainly we're going to talk about this injury report with the San Francisco 49ers and see who's going to play and who's not going to play. That's the main thing. We'll talk keys to victory. We'll talk tendencies. Brock Purdy's having a tough season. For every touchdown he's thrown a pick. People have figured it out. If you watch the San Francisco 49ers play, the only success that they have is throwing to a back out of the backfield or throwing some kind of crossing route. That's the only success that they have. People have figured out Brock Purdy. It really wasn't that difficult to figure out. Baltimore figured it out last year when Kyle Hamilton literally had 3 picks in the first half and they had to pull Brock Purdy out of the game because he threw 5 picks. That system is predicated on the run, and that system is built around Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is not there. Sure, the backup running back was having a hell of a season. He's hurt too. He's got a bad shoulder. They're down to their third running back. Ricky Pearsall is literally going to be their number 1 on Sunday. And he's just coming off an injury where he got shot in an incident in San Francisco where he was involved in a shooting where somebody tried to steal his shoes. This is your number 1 receiver. Juwan Jennings is probably not going to play because he got a bad hip. Debo's out. He had fluid in his lungs and was hospitalized and just got out of hospital. And Ayuk has a torn ACL. This is the opportunity that they have to take advantage of. If they do not take advantage of this opportunity, I don't know what can go right for the rest of the season. This is a must-win game for the Dallas Cowboys. Must win. You have to win this football game. You don't have to be high-flying. You don't have to be none of that. You need to go in and you need to whoop their ass. That's what you need to do, and you need to leave San Francisco victorious and just get that monkey off your back. Gotta do it. Okay. Saturday, keys to victory, injury reports, how you can be successful against the San Francisco 49ers, what they do well, what they don't do well. It's pretty obvious what they do well. They run the ball and they play good defense. That's pretty obvious. But we'll get into the trenches. Trent Williams, he was on the injury report as well with limited practice today. This is the game. This is the one. This is the one. So keys to victory, tendencies of the 49ers, how you can beat them, injury reports. We'll do it all on Saturday. I'm excited. I am. I hope that everybody's excited about this game. This is a big deal. This is where we get to see how the Cowboys took the beginning of the season, kind of threw it away, came back, regrouped, and catapulted themselves to be at least semi-successful for the rest of the season. Sure, this has been a rough one. It has, but you have a golden opportunity to right the ship. All right. This is Cowboy C3. I'm getting pretty good at timing this thing for 30 minutes. Saturday, we'll come on in the afternoon. We'll talk all the things, Dallas, San Francisco, and then we'll come back Sunday after the game, Sunday night. Don't care. I'm going to be so excited after this victory that I'm coming on here and I may stay on here all night long because I know this is going to be great. Okay, see y'all Saturday. Have a safe rest of your week. Get ready. Big game Sunday happening Sunday night against the 49ers in San Francisco. You can't have a better opportunity than this. All right, guys. See y'all Saturday. All right, bye.